Welcome into the Meltdown. The Batman Part 2 has been delayed a whole year, and it makes me very sad and angry, and we'll talk about it. John went to Nashville and saw one of the biggest pop music artists in the world. We'll get his review. E.G. tried to go see one of the biggest pop music artists in the world. We'll get her review. We take a trip around the country to some of the best theme parks that you can currently buy a ticket to, and one of your favorite TNR hosts makes some time for us amongst all of the clutter. It's all straight ahead right here on The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
Two big boys in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know that makes up a meltdown. It's the meltdown, time for the meltdown, coming for the meltdown. Let's start the show.
I'm not in the best moods today, and I am going to have to power through that, put a smile on my face because we have a show to do. And it's because of all of you lovely Meltdonians that make the dream of doing this show a reality by joining us each and every day. We appreciate all of your comments there in the live chat on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch. Feel free to interact with us throughout the show. The other half of the Meltdown, that's John Lunsford, who is not a very gracious winner after last night. Are you going to, this is your opportunity to talk.
Hey-o, guess who won poker last night? That's right, it was me.
I should have won poker last night. I put forth the greatest effort betwixt the two of us.
You put forth the best cards coming out on the table between the two of us.
Not true based on the way that you slander my favorite hand of all time, which is King 9. I love King 9. I'll take it suited. I'll take it unsuited, and I'll go all in with it every time. And 3 times last night, I went all in with King 9, and each and every time, the whole entire group was rooting against me because they know that I truly love King 9 with all of my heart, and each and every time, King 9 delivered and knocked out whichever sort of sucker was in my way. John, you just happened to not be one of those suckers, which was unfortunate. But congratulations.
I won, so you can say whatever you want to. Yes, thank you. I'm on a little bit of a hot streak. You know what? It's all since I got these new shoes. Since I got these shoes, I have made money every time I've played. So,
do we have a new sponsor that I don't know about, or what's going on?
No,
here?
I'm not showing my shoes. I'm just saying I got new shoes because I destroyed my other ones.
Okay.
So
I'll check them out. I can't see here through the desk. Producer Tyler is here. Tyler, the latest Shogun episode drops tonight. I know you're very excited to watch that and get fully caught up.
Oh, yeah. It probably will not be tonight. I haven't decided if I'm going to see the Bob Marley movie, try and find a showing for Dune in Prime, or watch Shogun at home yet. Also, I was looking at the chat. Russell says K9 bites.
Russell,
who also finished ahead last night of Tim.
He did.
Russell came. What did Russell come in?
3rd.
Wow.
He was in 3rd. I was in 5th. But I should have won. I had Pocket Kings cracked. You know a little thing about that, E.G. You had Pocket Kings cracked. And I believe, you finished 10th last night?
At last, if you will.
Yeah.
See, I didn't point that out.
Yeah,
no,
thank you.
I finished 5 spots ahead of you.
Can we also,
I would love to hear your analysis of my poker game. That's what I would love.
Split personality, basically. First half of the evening. Complained about his seat placement.
Talking about me?
Night.
Yes.
Well, he never stopped with that.
Yes, the sardine.
No.
Okay, so pushed into a corner, quite literally and figuratively. Then who knocked you out? Because you had to rebuy.
I did have to rebuy.
Okay.
Hold on, I can tell you that real fast because I keep track of everything. And
so
keeping track of everything.
I think it was John's. No, it was Damien Stockdale.
It was.
Damien Stockdale.
So you rebuy, and also can we preface that 4 people rebought before I went out?
No,
I can tell everybody that real big right here. I can't make it zoom in. It says Tim Melton knocked out by John Lunsford.
Oh.
The second time, the official time. That's not what she was asking about.
The actual time. That's all I care about is the one that counts.
You ended up catching it there, I think, on the river or something. But
It was
It's
not my
okay.
evening. It was not. I went all in on Pocket Kings,
That
and
was rough.
Jack 7 beat me out. David Walls.
Yeah, it was a really tense game last night, and it's one that I thought I would persevere in.
Yeah.
And I just ended up, I was chip leader, or at least close to being chip leader. I was like right there neck and neck. And then I lost about 7 straight hands with the blinds being what they were, and I couldn't bounce back, and that was it. Pocket Kings getting cracked was
You
It's my
went
last
you really
stand.
low too.
I
You were
did,
at
yep.
13,000
Thank you.
chips.
Yeah, I was going to be the first one out.
You-
Thankfully, you were, but I was
Thank
going
you
to be the
so
first
much
one
for
out.
that. Who came in third 2 weeks ago?
Who came in third 2 weeks ago? I guess that was you.
That
Was
was
that the
me.
game where I knocked you out in that one?
Yeah, you also. Yeah, we'll
That's
we'll
fine.
leave it at that.
I don't feel like you have a winning argument in any of these things. And also, I'm a little salty. It's not EG's fault.
It's not.
It's that I'm
It's
being
not.
salty. Poker was rough. I've gotten some rough news today. The Batman 2 has been delayed until October 2nd, 2026. That's a whole year. The new date is reportedly due to the aftermath of the dual strikes that had been going on. There may be even more strikes with the technical strikes that may happen in Hollywood. John, if I was listing my 5 favorite franchises to keep up with, Batman is the clear, decisive number 1 for me. I'm a Batman fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
And to hear this news 10 minutes before we are set to go on to air that the Batman 2 has been delayed, it breaks my heart. And I'm very much anticipating this film, very much looking forward to it. I hope they get it right. That's what I guess is important. I got to look at the long game here. But that's a whole nother year that I have to stay alive in order to be able to watch this film. And that's a lot of stress. That's a lot of pressure.
I mean, I had to do it for 5 extra months for Dune 2, so you can do it for another year.
You think so?
I'm confident.
I think much like Dune 2, the Batman Part 2 will get a lot of awards buzz too, because it's going to be that epic of a film, I hope. With Matt Reeves there. I don't know if Robert Pattinson, what his workload is right now, because he's had multiple films delayed over the course of the past couple of months here, with Mickey 17 being delayed
Maybe it's him.
here recently. You think it's?
I don't know. That is 2 pretty back-to-back, delays, because Mickey 17 just happened not too long ago too. Who knows?
That's one piece of drama that's going on. Tyler, do you know my catchphrase at poker? Do you know what I yell all the time?
He likes to yell, "The king is back."
I do like to
There
yell,
it
"The king
is.
is back." I didn't think I'd have a chance to yell that last night, but I ended up rebounding, and the king was indeed back. While there's a lot of drama at the poker table, there's even more drama with the royal family. King Charles III continues to stay out of the limelight due to his recovery from cancer. And Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, has also been out of the public eye with ongoing health rumors and speculation following abdominal surgery. But this weekend, a photo released by Kensington Palace showed Kate with her children, and it seemed like a very nice Mother's Day photo. It was Mother's Day in the UK. And there was a lot of sentiment that this was a lovely thing to see Kate back in the limelight, but there was then evidence of potential manipulation in the photo, including an issue with Princess Charlotte's sleeve, cuff, and a zipper on the left-hand side of the jacket of Kate, which did not appear to be aligned. This has been very dramatic. There's been wild speculation. 12 hours later, there was an admission by Kate on X that she likes to use Photoshop,
So do I, but
saying, quote, "Like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. I wanted to express my apologies for any confusion the family photograph we shared yesterday caused. I hope everyone celebrating had a very happy Mother's Day." We have a Royals expert here with us, thankfully, and that is E.G., who's obsessed with the Royals. She's watched every single minute of The Crown. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to pretend it is.
We'll pretend it's true.
E.G., what is going on here with this weird Photoshop story, and why are people so obsessed with it?
I think it's much deeper than the weird Photoshop story.
Ooh.
I think that it goes back decades, if you will, with the royal family, especially in the modern age. A monarchy is an ancient ideal that has been preserved through generations. And now we're in the most modern of times, and institutionalized things have historically been kind of picked apart. Why we see a slimmed down monarchy, there's not many active royals. And so with situations like this, it's magnified because of the years of speculation on the royal family, their happenings, how much public access should people get into their family, and things like that. So my stance on the photo, I do think that Kate Middleton is entitled to all the privacy in the world about this abdominal surgery. I don't know what the procedure was. I don't think that they've never come out and said what it was. It seemed pretty serious, and they did say that we would not see any public appearances from her until after Easter. We still have 3 weeks. When it comes to the picture, I've heard that it's an old photo. Have you guys heard that as well? That it was not current.
That makes sense
Not
as to why it was edited and all of that.
And the big issue is people are saying it's not authentic, and we deserve an authentic view of the royal family. My stance on that is, well, an authentic view of the royal family has been torn apart for decades. Everything they've done has been cause of speculation. So you want a more modern royal family. What's more modern than editing your pictures on social media? The American royal family, the Kardashians, do it all the time.
So you're putting up a defense here.
I am. I don't think that editing a photo...
It wasn't a filter, E.G. It was to manipulate the message here. It was to try to alter the truth, wasn't it?
I'm not taking it as that.
Okay.
I'm not taking it as that.
I've read that it's from a Vogue photo shoot. I don't know if that's true. I haven't dug into it.
It's a glamour shot, and I did see that. The lighting on that is completely different, and she's wearing a hat in that photo. Also, she has years of training to smile perfectly and to hold herself in a certain way. So her making the same face twice is not crazy to me.
John, on a scale of 1 to infinity, how scandalous is this, in your opinion?
To me, 1. I mean, everybody. I'm not agreeing necessarily with everything EG says, but everybody does.
It sounds like you are. It sounds like you have been from the very beginning of this show, taking me down in all of my poker glory.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, everybody edits their photos. I do it. My wife does it. We all do it. When we post the photo, we put a filter on or something. But the thing is, this is very like, I don't want to say it's AI generated, but the little things. So the picture I've been showing on the stream is from the New York Times, where they broke down a few different angles of it. When I've seen AI photos done before of people, like a celebrity or something, you'll see little details in the background, like a tree is a double tree on each other, or a rock is like, there's like 3 rocks where there's supposed to be 1, or a person's hand will have 6 fingers instead of 5 or something like that, to where the little things that are wrong with it, like in the bottom left right now, there's tiles, and you can see there's 2 tiles almost kind of overlaid on each other, that the actual tile, especially in a house that it belongs to, a member of the royal family, those tiles would not be overlapping like that, and like the hair would not be overlapping like that. I'm not saying it's an AI photo, but it seems like AI is what. And in Photoshop, you can literally just pick a piece of, let's say I took a picture of this room and I wanted to, take your on-air sign out. I could just, crop that out, say, change this to a tree, and it'll put an AI tree there on your desk instead, something like that. It easily could have been done like through Photoshop. AI manipulate this, and it didn't all quite, some of it may have worked out, but it didn't all quite work out.
And really quickly, AI is an important part of the entertainment industry right now, because it is the number one thing that all of these different unions are fighting against. And we're seeing the same thing from both the actors, the writers, the tech people. We're seeing it in the video game industry.
Yep.
They're all fighting at what is a rapidly evolving future that has the chance to completely change the content landscape, and already is to some degree, which is why we're even talking about this sort of situation, because if people can't trust photos and videos, and that's the world we live in now, where they used to say seeing is believing, but no longer. Oh my gosh. I think we have a guest at the window here. Who do we have, John? Who do we have?
Who's that?
Oh my gosh, it's Ryan Brown, everybody. Ryan Brown is here. Let's bring him in. All right, EG, let in Ryan Brown. He's breathing on our window. I hope he's going to clean that. Welcome in, Ryan.
Welcome.
So thrilled to have you here.
I was looking for the Post-it notes. Is this not the supply closet?
This was a former supply closet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we're still
Nobody
trying to
told me
clean
we
it
moved the
out.
Post-it notes.
We're still trying to clean it out. Last night at poker, I got my teeth kicked in after reaching the top of the mountain. If you need some dental work done, there's only one group I'd recommend.
What a commercial.
You like that?
That's fantastic. And I work with Dunaway.
It's called a natural segue.
Yeah.
That's Alabama Dental Associates, Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian. They make sure all of their patients are well taken care of. I've made multiple trips to Alabama Dental on Grants Mill Road over the past year. I've enjoyed my experience there each and every time. They have the friendliest staff in the business. You'll hear it yourself when making an appointment at 205-956-8977. They even confirm your appointment with you through text messages, so you're always up to date with your latest checkup schedule. The team is ready to help you with all of your dental care needs at alabamadental.com. All right, we're thrilled to have Ryan Brown here making his Meltdown debut. How excited are you to be here on
I've been looking forward to this since I got the text late last night when apparently nobody else responded. So I'm very excited.
I am very happy to have you here. How comfortable is that chair for
It's
those
very
who...
comfortable. I like it. Why am I not?
No, it's
sitting
just
it in properly?
it's. I find it to be a very difficult chair to find the correct posture
Well,
in.
my issue is I don't feel like the mic is close enough to my mouth, but that's a Tyler or that's a Lunsford
It
issue.
all depends how, because some people like to sit up like I'm on camera, I got to sit up.
No,
and
no,
some
I'm going to be comfortable.
because you do this every day that you're
Yeah.
relaxed and you sit back and okay, well hold on, it doesn't quite.
Yeah, am I okay here though?
No, you're
Because
fine. You're fine. You
okay,
sound
good.
fine.
All right.
Yeah, I got the magic board right here to fix it.
Yeah, I've fixed it from where EG left it.
Have I ever thanked you to your face for making the jump and starting the next round with a ragtag group of individuals? Have I thanked you to your face for that?
Showing up every day is thank you enough.
Okay.
But no, you have not.
How terrifying of a leap was that? Can you pull back the curtain just a little bit? Because that was something that our radio brethren, they hadn't really done in the Birmingham market at the very least.
I've been asked this a lot actually, and my answer is always the same. I wasn't terrified because I knew the group of people I was doing it with. And I had eminent faith in those people. They were all very, very good at what they do. So I knew we had the proper team to pull this off. The only hesitation I had is that not only had nobody done this in Birmingham, and you do wonder, as much as I love my city and my state, I don't pretend that we're on the cutting edge of everything, right? I mean, we're not going to be the first city to do, something that's technologically advanced like this. So that was a concern. But I mean, honestly, when we did this, we were the only, you could make an argument that Outkick 360 did what we did because they were a Nashville radio show that switched over to Outkick, but they were still backed by a national brand in Outkick, right? To my knowledge, I couldn't find anybody else. We were the only show that did what we did at that point, which was leave an established radio station and go out completely on our own and start a show that was strictly digital. And we looked all over, and I couldn't find anybody else that had done that without joining an established brand.
And when you put it that way, it sounds so simple. It sounds like
really
it's
does,
just
doesn't it?
one
Yeah.
of these
It
easy things.
wasn't.
You're just going to transfer over and
I
you're just
know.
going to go to a completely different medium.
I know.
But then you start getting into the logistics and all the decisions that have to be made and how everything's going to look and how everything's going to function and who's going to be doing what.
Yeah.
And it can become quite overwhelming. The early days of the next round, before you guys even made it to your first episode, what do you remember most about that time period when you were getting ready to debut this new format?
I enjoyed the time off. We were meeting daily around 9:00, and it was in the summer, so school was out because we left June 16th of 2017 was technically our last day at Cumulus. And so for June and July, we were meeting every day at 9:00, but I was used to doing mornings. So I was waking up early because I had to wake up at 4:15 at the latest to not feel rushed for a 6 a.m. show. That's I hate feeling rushed. I'd rather get somewhere early and sit than be rushed. So I would get up at 4:15. So, it took me a good 2 months to break just that sleep habit. So I was up every morning around 5:00. So I started walking just to clear my mind. And I was walking like 4 or 5 miles a morning in my neighborhood. I had like 3 different routes that I knew the distance on those routes. And I really enjoyed that. Like sometimes I would listen to something. Sometimes I would just walk in peace. Sometimes I'd pray when I walked. Sometimes I'd listen to music. It just depended. So I really enjoyed that actually.
For those that have never sampled either the round table or the next round, what's the secret sauce? What's the hook? What's the line, the tagline for that show and y'all's chemistry that you have together?
I think for the most part, we don't take ourselves too seriously. So I think people don't take us too seriously. And that is a good thing. I don't want to be taken seriously.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Yes, I know, which is what brings me to this room. Sports shouldn't be like life or death. They should be fun, and I think we have fun with it. And there are some things I hate the serious stories, like, and thank God there's no like NCAA probation stories anymore, because we had to go through that with the Cam Newton stuff and then some Alabama stuff. I absolutely despise those stories. My least favorite time of doing this was the Cam Newton saga, because we were on before Feinbaum and Paul was talking about it 24/7. And we were on after the opening drive and they were talking about it 24/7. And we didn't want to even talk about it.
Right.
And then Alabama fans would get pissed that we were talking about it and then are not talking about it. And then if we brought anything up, Auburn fans would get pissed that we're bringing it up. So you couldn't win. I just hated that we want to have fun. I don't like any story that keeps us from having fun. And there's occasionally those stories in sports, tragic stories and things like that, where you just can't have fun with it. And I hate those stories.
Well, this is one of the least fun days I've had on the Meltdown. It's not because of you, Ryan.
What has happened?
He's just sour
They
about a lot of
delayed
things.
the next Batman movie by a year, which is tough for me. They delayed it by a year.
Who's the Batman?
It's Robert Pattinson.
Okay,
Robert
he's already
Pattinson.
done it once, right?
He's already done
Yes.
it once.
And
yes.
did people like him?
Yes.
Overall, generally, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I've
they did.
only seen the one that Heath Ledger did. No, I
That's
take that
not
back.
true.
No, I take that back. I saw the one Christian Bale did.
Well, there's a multiple. Please don't do this to me. Okay.
This is what I was looking
Look,
forward to. As bad as he
no,
does
no,
in the
no,
next
no.
round.
Hang on.
We gotta
hang
have
on.
an intervention.
Let me see if I can work through this.
No.
Okay. The one where Heath Ledger was the Joker. What? Is that
That's
yeah,
him right
behind
there.
Tyler.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
And then I saw one where Christian Bale was Batman. Those are the two I've seen.
Okay.
There's Batman in both of those.
Christian Bale was Batman in the Heath Ledger.
Okay,
one.
so it's potential that that's the same movie.
Who was the bad? Okay.
No, don't do this to me,
Heath Ledger.
John.
Quote
He
one
blew
of
up the
them all
school
the time.
bus.
But I'm saying there wasn't a second movie
Okay.
where you remember like a guy
Stop.
named Scarecrow, or
Okay.
you remember Bane.
Hang on. Yeah, which one is the one where Bane
have you
blows up
actually
Heinz Field? Is
Have
that
you
the
actually
same one?
seen that movie? It's not just like
No,
a
I've
bit.
seen the movie.
Okay, that's the third one.
That's the third
after-
one.
That's the one.
Is Christian
after.
Bale the Batman in that one?
Yes.
I've seen those two. Which two have I seen then?
I was going to get to
2
what
and 3.
my least favorite part of the next round is, and it has to do with you, and this is very uncomfortable. It's not a gotcha sort of thing, but I've told you this before. I know to your face is that your Bane impression really triggers me.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Sounds nothing
I know
like
it doesn't,
him.
but I think that's the humor in it.
That sounds nothing
know.
like Bane.
Yeah.
And he never yells Pittsburgh. by
I
the
know,
way.
but they're obviously at Heinz Field, and Heinz Ward is trying to
With
avoid
the Steelers playing as the
Yeah,
team.
the Steelers playing. I mean, let's be realistic about
Bill
this.
Cowher, Ben Roethlisberger.
And they could, and Heinz Ward outrun the explosions.
That was Gotham's team. And
Yes.
I just would like if you took
Was
it
it
a
Heinz
little.
Ward?
I would like if you took your position a little bit more seriously as being a voice of reason on that show, and not
Right.
just spreading your Bane propaganda, because
Right.
that is not something that is
Okay,
accurate to
let
the
me
actual film.
legitimately try the Bane
Please.
impersonation. Okay, so
Please.
he walks out and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen of Gotham." Is that good?
It's worse.
It's basically the
gotten
same.
worse.
You just changed Pittsburgh and got.
Okay, all
You
right.
sound like a cartoon cockatoo is what you
Okay,
sound
all right,
like.
here we go. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen of Gotham."
That's better.
That's actually-
Okay,
that's
so I just
actually
need to cover my mouth.
That's not bad.
I did the same impersonation. I just cover my mouth that
So
time.
start doing that.
Okay.
And
I will.
that'll help me.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Is that better?
That's he never yells Pittsburgh.
I know he does it, but that's
Let's
the
move
obvious-
on.
Okay.
Let's move on. I do have a football question for you.
I
here.
didn't think we
There's
talked
an-
sports on this show.
Well, there's a reason we're talking sports today. It has to do with my hat right now. It's
Titans.
another sad thing.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry, no longer a Tennessee Titan officially.
Going to the Ravens, yeah.
Go
Going
Ravens.
to the Ravens. His legacy as a Tennessee Titan, his legacy so far with what he's built as a dominant running back, he's definitely a top 3 Titan for me all time. Can you put some perspective on this move? I know it's not a retirement, but to me it feels very much like, while I'm still cheering for him as a person, as a player, it does feel like when one of your favorite players and your favorite current Titan leaves to go join another franchise, it does feel very sad for some reason.
Yeah, I'm dealing with this a little bit with the Dolphins and Christian Wilkins. He was my second favorite Dolphin. And he's now with the Raiders. And you just get so invested. I'm invested in my team, but you can't be invested in a team without being invested in the players and the coaches. So when those things change, it is difficult to deal with. And it's even more difficult when you see them change and they go to another team and thrive. That's going to be the hard part.
Like, okay.
This is where we get into
Is
sore
hang on real
subjects again.
quick. Steve McNair,
Correct.
Derrick Henry,
Derrick Henry was 3 for me.
3, so you're number 2 Titan of all time.
Eddie George.
Yes.
Okay.
Steve
So
McNair,
you're heavy on the
Eddie
running backs
George.
there.
So
Well, I mean, offense, really, if you just
Yeah.
look at it. But
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go
I like
Bruce
Curse.
Matthews.
I like Curse. Curse would be 4th.
Devon
for me.
Curse.
Yeah.
Frank Wycheck. He's very
I was about
popular.
to say Wycheck's up
the
there.
late Frank
There you
Wycheck.
go.
Kevin Dyson. I think a lot of people like are. He's not the best receiver though. Who would be the? Would have been AJ Brown.
A.J.
if they
Brown,
kept
yeah,
him,
that's the truth.
Okay. Yeah. We should move on from this. Yeah.
Lunsford abandoned the Titans.
Right.
He
He's a
ran
49 big 49ers
for a
fan.
long
Can we have
time
court? Can we have court right here, real quick?
Yeah.
quickly.
Okay. So the whole reason I became a Titans fan, partially the move to Nashville, but the whole reason I became a Titans fan was because as I was starting to get to the age where I was playing football, I thought I need to start watching this game. I need to model my game after somebody. I need to watch and see how the game is played at the highest level. The first person I ended up running into just watching on TV was Steve McNair with, for a hot second with Houston until they went to Tennessee. So that's the whole reason I became a fan of the Oilers/Titans when they first moved was Steve McNair and a little Eddie George too. Well, Steve McNair made the move to Baltimore, and I followed him over there. Ozzie Newsome being the GM. Then I started thinking, okay, I'm going to watch. I'll stay a Titan fan, but I'm going to watch a lot of Ravens games because he's the guy that really got me into it more than anybody else. And then we know what happened with him. So now with Derrick Henry, the only reason I ever stayed with the Titans to begin with was Derrick Henry being an Alabama grad, following that my entire life, and him being as good there as he is. Am I entitled to now shift to the Ravens because Derrick Henry is playing
Good
with the
Lord.
Ravens?
Oh,
I
my
mean,
gosh.
there's-
Turncoat.
There's 32 teams. I mean, how many are you going to be a fan of?
You just said you can't watch the teams without following the
Well,
players.
yeah,
So
but
I'm
it's-
following the player.
No.
The player. The only reason I even stayed with the Titans to begin with was Derrick Henry.
Ultimately, I don't care who you pull for. I mean, you're wearing a baseball hat for a team that doesn't even play yet. But
Oh, now that's my team, okay?
well, I know,
back
but they
off.
don't play yet.
Don't put me on the side of
te-
Lunsford here.
it's
We can
technically-
gang up on him, okay?
It's technically still an Oakland hat, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, when are you going to finally just pick a team and stick with it? I mean,
Luns has
never.
said he's Rob Lowe in the stands with the NFL hat.
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
You just need to wear an NFL hat.
Never,
like
but if
Rob
I'm
Lowe.
going to follow the players, the number one player I follow is Jalen Hurts.
Okay,
but-
that's Philadelphia.
That was a little too bandwagon for me because
Right,
they
right.
got they got AJ Brown, the best
Yep.
receiver to ever play for the
Okay.
Titans, and then Derrick Henry was second behind that. That I still watched him. He was on my fantasy team,
Yeah.
and all that.
Do you realize how bad of a look it is to jump every single year to a
Yeah,
new
I
team?
have
again,
to
that's
agree.
what
I don't
I'm
know
saying.
if you know this. I've already jumped and everybody hates me for it, so I might as well just go
hate
full
you for
villain,
it. Yeah, you may
full
as well.
heel, and just say I'm a diehard Ravens fan so that I can watch Derrick Henry.
So that means you finally have to talk good about Joe Flacco and what he contributed to that
I never said a
franchise.
word bad about Joe
To
Flacco.
the history of your franchise.
I literally picked the Ravens that year before the season started to win the Super Bowl.
I want to talk about something dumb other than John's fandom here and
Okay.
how it shifts constantly. Daylight saving time.
Love it.
You love it.
I love the time change. Yeah.
But
EG
can we
does-
just
you
keep
like
it this
EG?
way, though?
Oh, I
That's
agree
what I'm
completely.
arguing.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. I don't know why we. So the best I can tell, the change started around World War II to help wartime production and aid the farmer. And I think the farmer doesn't really care
See,
anymore.
I always thought this was
in that
attributed back to like Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, I thought it was like super old timey.
Yeah, super
because of the
old-timey.
farmers.
Well, I think the farmers too, but I thought there was something about World War II wartime production or something. I don't know. I
Either
think
way,
I
the
wouldn't lie back
excuses these days are all old.
they don't matter
And
anymore.
we just
yeah.
need to get to a point. Give
So
us the extra
anytime
light.
I bring this up, the blowback I get is from people that are talking about kids at the bus stop when it's dark. And I'm like, what? And they apparently it gets too cold, or I have not heard a story about a kid getting hit at a bus stop in the dark. And I apologize if I missed that story.
Yeah,
I just don't know that this is that big a concern.
I don't know.
So I am all for keeping it the way we got it. What you got, EG?
Benjamin
I'm sorry, it's not my
Franklin.
show. Look at me.
Benjamin Franklin proposed a form of daylight time in 1784.
I think.
Wow.
And they took it and radicalized his original idea and made it what it is today. And I'm
I think
hoping,
he also died of syphilis or something like that.
hoping we can completely get away from it. Are you trying to discredit Benjamin Franklin
Well,
here on the Meltdown?
I think he died of syphilis. I think if you looked at, do you have
That's
anything?
the play you're making?
I've got some from 1945 to 1966. There was no federal law on daylight saving time, so localities could choose when it began and ended or drop it entirely. So then it became complicated, clearly. And in 1967, a federal standard was established.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Still all outdated.
He died
We
from
need
a
to get away from it.
pleuritic attack.
Did he have syphilis?
I don't know about that.
No, I think he did.
He had really bad gout.
Yeah.
You know what he could have used? He could have used a physician, which is what we're currently seeing right now, John, when it comes to our
This is incredible.
our weight loss, our diets, our habits. It's all physician consulted and led, and I'm very proud to be partnered up with Way to Wellness.
Yeah, I am too. I even did Jim's read for him today on the next round because that's how good it's currently going for me. Brown said he hadn't seen me in a week and said he could tell something.
I could tell in the face. Yep.
Yeah, so that's really the first outside person I've seen really, say something. So I appreciate that, Brown. But Way to Wellness has done a great job. I was at 43 this morning, so that's been 5.5 weeks or so, and I'm down 43 pounds. So they've done a good job with me. They're working with Tim now. They're working with Jim, obviously, and they're working with my dad as well, and he's lost a lot of weight with the program also. So it's a whole family and friends affair here with the next round and the Meltdown. So go visit Leslie and her team there. Go to aplanforme.com, and you can find out more information there about Way to Wellness.
Some people are saying you have the worst Bane impression ever, but Richard says the Bane voice, it isn't good, but it's funny, kind of a running joke, so it gets a pass.
It is a bit of a running
It's
joke.
a thing now, yeah.
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I'll defend the Bane voice. I like it.
Oh, thanks, Tyler.
Because of how bad it is?
It just entertains me, and I look forward to it every time they start talking superheroes.
Yeah.
Only thing I don't look forward to is I say some random
I really
superhero.
do.
Oh, is that the one with Superman?
This is not a therapy session. This is just simply
Yeah.
a talk.
I don't
That's
really
all
know
this
the
is.
comic book movies that well. I don't see any of those.
Right. We could tell from the first
Yeah, I know.
30 minutes of this.
I
event.
suggested that. Are we going to do that? I suggested that as a Mystery Fifth Hour.
If y'all want to do that, we can do that. Tim and I can come up with a whole.
Yeah, if you guys want to do a Mystery Fifth Hour with me and come up with some sort of, like we did with Little T and Lance, where Little T had to identify actors, and she was awful at that. And then Lance politicians. If y'all could come up with a way for me to identify something in the comic book movies, I think I would be equally bad.
And I'm just going to go out on a
And I'll
limb
try.
and say if we did that, because Lance is like, oh, I'd ace that. And Jim's like, oh, I do pretty good at that. I guarantee if we did a quiz that's not so in the weeds nerdy.
Moderate.
But it's also not like, who is Batman kind of things. That I think you actually would probably do the best among all three of them.
Oh,
if I had to
think
guess,
so.
because
No, I think Lance would
only
be
because I'm not trying to make the segue, but it is kind of making the segue into only because you're willing to experience the world that these superheroes live in by going to theme parks and stuff like that.
Oh, look at that segue.
That they absolutely, especially one person in particular, despises.
Dunaway likes Disney. I don't think he's
that's
been
not
in a
about,
while, but Lance doesn't.
For those that don't know, John and I personally, I used to be the theme park guy of the two of us. That used to happen. And then Laurel entered the picture, and now John is the theme park guy. And I'm not salty about that either. Life changes quickly, and that needs to be acknowledged. I used to always try to get him to go to the theme parks, and he's go, I don't know if I'd enjoy it. And now he's a season pass holder to multiple parks. He's enjoying it very much, and he'll be sharing his experiences here with us on this edition of Luntz's List.
What is this? What is this? Luntz's List. What is this? Oh. What is this? What is this? Luntz's List. Luntz's List. Oh. Luntz's List of 5. Luntz's List of 5. Luntz's List of 5. Luntz's List of 5.
The look Brown's giving everybody.
That's how I look at him when he does his Bane impression.
Basically, I made an intro for the show. I don't have a Lunch's List intro because Rocky's been playing it live the whole time, but I have it here, so we're just dancing.
Oh, it sounded great.
You sound like a wounded owl.
Oh, what is this? It's
Oh,
a popcorn
gosh.
holder?
Stick your hand, stick your hand in.
Don't
get a
do it,
prize.
Brown. Don't do it. Oh.
Well, there's nothing in there.
How are you supposed to get popcorn out of that?
Literally every person in this office has stuck their hand in there at
That's
some
a
point.
terrible popcorn holder. I don't think you can get the popcorn. Oh, see, look.
Exactly.
That's what happens, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough. Say, like you can't
Gotta
get the
be
popcorn
gentle
out.
with it.
Look, you can't. But I've got.
Do you know what it's supposed to be?
like a popcorn holder?
No, but do you know what you're sticking your hand in? What that's supposed to be?
Don't
what
answer
what
the
it's
question.
actually supposed to
Don't
be?
answer the question. I'm setting you up.
It's a Dune. It's jeez. I'll put that back later. It's a. It's a. It's under Lunsford. It's the thing from.
Oh, gosh.
What
This
was
has gone off the rails.
What was the movie? Reba McEntire was in it. What?
No, it's
And,
from Dune. I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
Tremors is what you're talking about.
Trimmers. Yeah, Trimmers.
I'm backing you up on this.
Yeah, thank you. It's the thing from Trimmers.
To be fair, that's actually
It's pretty close,
a decent
right?
guess. It is a sandworm from Dune.
Yeah, sandworm. That's what
Tremors
Trimmers had.
is the superior sandworm experience.
You know, I've never seen Dune, but I would agree with you.
Yes, that is correct. If you love America, Tremors is the way to go.
I like Trim. Now, the first one, but the second one got a little out
Yeah.
there.
I think Kevin Bacon
There's a lot of them, aren't there?
regrets not having done the sequel. I think he came out recently and said
There's
he
like
regrets
5 or
not
6
having
of
done
I was
the
about to say, between DVDs and everything, I feel like there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
Okay, Lunce's
right,
list, longest segue ever. Name the 5 theme parks, John, that you believe deliver the best experience as a ticket holder. That is what I'm tasking you with.
I wasn't trying to actually segue, by the way, but I just feel like it was a good.
It's a perfect time to
It
segue.
was a good.
Yeah.
So this is the way this
Imagine
works.
if you did that to Jim, you know how he would.
Oh,
react
yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Let's start off with number 5 on
Number
Lunce's
5.
list.
Number 5.
These go from 5 to 1.
Right? 5 being the worst, 1 being the best.
Well, 5 being really good,
1
4
being
being better than
yeah.
that, 3 being better than that, 1 being the ultimate
exceptional.
experience.
Yeah. Okay.
So all 5 of these are supposed to be quality.
All right.
But you recently got back from Orlando.
This, in the last 365 days, I've been to Disney World and Universal Studios in LA.
So you are going to have some,
I'm going to have some
knowledge
thoughts on
about
this.
this.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Disneyland. I can't see the
California
adventure.
Adventure.
Disneyland,
So is
California
that
Adventure.
Different than just normal Disneyland?
We're going to have some teaching here.
Well,
done
you know, you don't
because-
just have Disney World. You go to Disney World, but then there's Epcot, Magic Kingdom,
Correct.
all that.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know they had that at Disney.
California Adventure is its own bit over to the side. This is where the Avengers area is, which I actually have not been to yet, but that only would make it better for me. They're currently building San Francisco from Big Hero 6, which I really love that movie, one of my better
I would love
Disney
to hear
movies.
you. I would love to hear you say that. What he just said. I'd
San
love to hear his-
Francisco from Big Hero 6.
Wow, that's actually really
San
well
Francisco, Tokyo put together.
done. Never going to test Ryan again.
Thank you.
Pixar Pier, I really like Pixar Pier there. The Incredicoaster is a pretty good roller coaster there. I like Cars Land, which has Radiator Springs Racers, which is Test Track. Imagine Test Track. I assume
At
you've done-
Epcot?
I assume you've done Test Track. That it's that, but it's completely Cars themed, and you're racing somebody else. And there's a random predetermined winner. But as fast as you're going, you're also racing back and forth with somebody else, making it a little cooler
Interesting,
experience.
From what we've heard, that would be Rockstar's favorite ride.
Yes, Rockstar and Cord would be in the two
love
different
it.
cars going against each other.
How fast are you actually going on Test Track? Do you know? The little thing says 69 miles per hour.
Yeah, I
which
mean, I
don't
think you're
it's-
actually going that fast.
You think
I mean,
so?
At
yeah.
one point, it was the fastest ride in all of Disney World.
Really?
At one
Test track
point,
wise?
it
Yeah.
was.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it is anymore. Tron may be it. I honestly don't know
Oh,
what exactly. it is.
EG's got some information.
Apparently, San Francisco is open now,
Oh, there you go. I have not
according
been.
to Nick.
It's been a couple years since I've been to Disneyland, so I knew they were building it. But the Avengers area, they have Spider-Man that swings across in the air. It's not real, but they do the Spider-Man thing, and they have all kind of characters and all
Don't
that.
break the illusion.
With all
Come
the
on,
whatever the
Lunsford.
latest Marvel movie is. I'm sorry. We went during the first time. It's not the first time I went, but the first time consciously I remember was our honeymoon. Or no, not our honeymoon. I don't want to spoil the rest of Lunch's list, but we went somewhere else and then did that to
You
kind
can
of
save this story for when we get to that one on the
experience it. But then we went during Christmas for our honeymoon, and there was an incredible food festival. It's kind of like a food and wine festival kind of thing. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was the single best theme park food I've ever had. And I feel like some people will be like, well, theme park food isn't that great to begin with. But at Disney, theme park food can be that incredible. And it was
Agreed.
incredible at Disneyland.
So I've never been a turkey leg fan at the theme park. I find them actually quite disgusting when you're waiting in line and the person in front of you is chomping down on a turkey leg.
I'm kind of with you on that.
I've had
I
to see,
used to be.
I've had to see so many people throw away the turkey leg before getting on a ride or something.
Yeah.
It's always very sad. They just paid a fortune for it and then they
I
have to
think
throw it
it's
away.
badly overrated, the turkey leg. I'm not a big fan myself. And I when we were down there this week, I saw a guy just walking. He had like a beer in one hand and a turkey leg in the other. And it's just a disgusting look. It really is, like a caveman.
When I was a kid, I ate it all the time.
How long you're just sweating turkey and beer.
And it's all over your hands. Yeah, I'm not a big
No
fan of
thanks.
that one.
No thanks. All right, let's go ahead and go to number
right.
4. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not completely sold on number 5 here. I didn't hear the full pitch in a way.
Well,
that
I
Literally
just
named
ignited
off like
me.
5 rides I like when we were there.
I
and all
know,
different
I'm
areas.
sorry.
Does Disneyland itself appear on the list, or can I ask a Disneyland question?
You can ask a Disneyland
Okay,
question.
so it's not on the list. I've heard Disneyland is a dump. Now that's
Is that a question? I guess it's.
I've heard Disneyland is a dump, question mark?
So that's where Galaxy's Edge is in California, which
Yeah.
is the Star Wars area. It's, I wouldn't say it's a dump, but I'm also comparing, if I'm comparing every theme park in the world, if I'm comparing it to straight up Disney World, which is in America, everything else basically, yeah,
Okay.
worse than the
Is
others.
it
but
as crowded as Disney World?
when I have been, no,
Okay.
but I have been very limited there compared to Disney World.
Are you currently someone who, if you were to go to Disneyland, California right now, you could get in with some sort of season pass?
At one point in my life, yes. Now, no.
Okay. All right.
COVID killed a lot of that because you weren't traveling out west as much and all that. We kind of considered it because we went in August, and then, of course, Alabama ends up in the Rose Bowl, so we go again. So there was talk of that, but now that, because within a year, because we went to Vegas, and then I went back for the World Series of Poker, and then I went to LA just on vacation, and then Alabama ended up there again. So there were multiple reasons to go out west multiple times. So I'm kind of out wested out to where I don't really care to like go out there a bunch.
We have a season pass to Lunce's list. I'm looking forward to seeing number 4. You were in Vegas recently.
I was in Vegas.
Lunsford and I went to Vegas recently. Are you surprised there's not like a theme park out there? I mean,
A little bit. They've got that right at the Stratosphere, right?
Yeah.
Which I have zero interest in.
they have like attractions, but there's
Yeah.
not like a theme park. And I feel like that would actually be a big draw if they're trying to
maybe.
get.
I mean, I think you'd get more families there. I don't know if you want more families in Vegas
they've
because
tried to recruit families. They
Have they
want
really?
just bodies. I think they just want
yeah,
bodies.
but that just seems like the Vegas image is hurt by having more families. The whole what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas seems like I don't know.
I don't think they're still on that kick though. I think that's.
They're trying to get away from
I
that.
think that they've gotten
Yeah.
away from that.
I wasn't a big Vegas fan, to be honest with you.
Oh, we'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
Number 4,
Shut
Universal
me down.
Hollywood.
I just went there.
Well,
I like Universal Hollywood much better than Universal Orlando, personally. I think so. Universal Hollywood, probably its biggest feature is that it's 2 tiers. There's a high tier and a low tier, and you take a giant escalator down between the two.
And you can see Lakeview Golf Course, Lakeview Country
can.
Club, which is a historic LA golf course.
You can.
Many actors and people of note are members of that course. Justin Timberlake among them, members of
go.
that course.
look at you with the knowledge.
I know it's a golf course. I didn't
Yes.
know which one it was. I'm
Lakeview.
like, oh, there's LA Country Club. 'cause
No. LA Country Club.
Didn't they just do the
LA Country Club hosted the U.S.
US
Open.
Open? Okay.
It's known for the fact that the Playboy Mansion is on the property, or it's borders the property.
Because
There.
when I went in August, whatever, it was just after that. And so it's like, there's
Yeah.
a golf course. I'm just going to guess that's LA Country
That
Club.
was not LA Country
I was
Club.
about to make a Benjamin Franklin joke, decided not to.
Anyway, so here's why Universal Hollywood jumps above Universal Orlando for me. And I guess I'm kind of spoiling part of the list, but Universal Hollywood has their studio tour.
You would think this is the first time he's done Lunce's list.
I know.
Have you rattled him? Is it your
I
celebrity
don't know. I think
that
I'm
has?
slowing it down a little bit.
Well, no, look, sometimes I have to make choices based on, look, I like this better than this, so I have to kind of give away.
Okay,
That that's what, like,
Well,
when I
you
was
sure are doing that.
yesterday with our movies, there's literally 100 movies to choose from this
That's
year.
right.
So just by choosing one, I don't have to give up another one. With this, I'm putting Universal Hollywood on here and saying you're not going to see Universal Orlando because let me also say you also gave me events to change things
Time
around.
of year can change your entire perception.
So I could say,
of a park.
Universal Hollywood Christmas or something,
Yeah.
at some point on here and be a different thing. So just Universal Hollywood, the studio tour, is what puts it over the top as far as Orlando. Now, Orlando has plenty of studios. They still shoot plenty of stuff down in Orlando. They shoot a lot more stuff in Hollywood.
I just went on a psycho kick here recently and watched the entire franchise. All four,
I forgot I pulled pictures. Thank you for reminding me.
all 4 movies of the Psycho franchise, and they did not get better as they went along. But I think that the Bates Hotel exhibit that you get a chance to see on the tram would
When
be a
the
very
guy
nice
walks
cool
out,
thing.
he
Yeah.
walks out. Yeah.
You may
that'd be
you may
cool.
see that at some point. So when we were there in August, the Bates Motel was actually being used for something. They were shooting something there, and they had it completely blocked off where we couldn't see it. However, when I went in August, we did the studio tour, and they had the set for the Ted TV show. I'm a big Seth MacFarlane guy, and so they're like, "Hey, this is the house that Ted lives in. This is the house that's going to be used for this. This is the area that's going to be used for this." And I got to see it all. And then the Ted TV show came out on Peacock a couple months later. It's like, that's that house I drove past. That's that street we went down. It's literally the entire set was there. The Jupiter's Claim set from Nope was there now, and I think it's a permanent attraction now. They brought it kind of the destroyed version after the movie's over. So that was cool to see. But the biggest reason the studio tour, I like it, and it puts Universal Orlando to shame, just the studio tour does, is Universal Orlando and Islands of Adventure each have a ride. Universal, the old park has the Fast and the Furious ride, which, I love those movies. And then the other has, there's the Star Lasso experience from No. But the Islands of Adventure side has the King Kong ride, which is not the old school King Kong ride it used to be, but it's kind of a newer one based off the Peter Jackson King Kong. Well, the studio tour has literally both rides on the studio tour where you stay in the tram basically, because the whole point of the ride is you get in there, they lock your wheels in place, and they rock you around while you're racing against people or pulling off a heist, or King Kong is coming and shaking your thing, and so you're shaking back and forth. If you can just do that on just a simple studio tour, but they have 2 separate rides that you have to wait in line 2 hours to go on at Universal, that's the biggest waste of space in any theme park, is the Fast and Furious ride, which should be cool if you think about what Fast and Furious is, and then the King Kong ride, which once again should be cool if you think about what that is. Plus, personal tie to Universal Hollywood, that's where I played. We randomly got into my gaming history yesterday out in the lobby, but I played the 2010 World Cyber Games National Championships on the soundstage there in front of a bunch of people, and that was really cool. So that was kind of a cool experience as well to put it on my list.
It felt like to me, do I get to contribute?
That's why you're here.
It felt like to me the rides were shorter at Universal Hollywood than other theme parks because they're squeezed for space. And also, while visually incredible, the lower lot of the Mario deal,
yes,
like when you first walk in there, it is, you don't even know where to look. There is just so much going on, but there's really only one ride down there.
Within
I was
10
very
minutes,
disappointed.
I was done.
I know. Like, I thought we were going to spend a couple hours down there because both my kids played Mario growing up. But really, once you ride that first ride, there's not much else you can do except spend money down there.
I literally just brought up my video game history and didn't mention the Mario area, but mentioned something else I did up on the upper lot in the soundstage, because it's cool to walk in, and I had a picture of it, but it's like, yep, there's some mushrooms.
Yep.
There's a castle.
Did it feel cramped?
All right, bye.
That's it. Oh, very cramped. Yeah.
Because it doesn't seem like a very big space.
It's not a very big space, and it is built very high to mimic the Mario, scenery. So you're in like really high walls, but it is really cramped, and there's nowhere to go once you get down there except that area. So it's packed with people, and you have to ride 3 escalators to get down there. So you want to make it worth your stop once you get down there, because it takes you a minute to get down there.
I'm showing a picture right now that kind of shows the castle and one tall kind of climb. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Brown,
Also Fast and Furious cars too.
Now my youngest
incredible.
one, I'm sorry, Milton, but my youngest one is a big Harry Potter fan. Her and EG are best friends. My 10-year-old says her best friend in the world is EG. And I don't know do you feel the same way?
I feel the exact same way about Holly
good.
Brown.
So Hallie and EG are best friends because they love Harry Potter. And she loved the Harry Potter world, so much so. When we were out for the Rose Bowl, we were driving the interstate past it, and I was like, EG, I'm going to have a dad moment with you here. If you'll look to your left, you'll see the Harry Potter castle.
It was awesome.
And EG says, oh, is that where they filmed the movie? Nope, that's probably just a theme park. Yep. Just a theme park. Yep.
They do have the Harry Potter area. It is very limited compared to the Orlando side, because they have
I've not been to the Orlando.
So they have Hogwarts, but then they also have Diagon Alley as well in the old park. So total, it's good, but that's 2 different theme parks also making the experience. Here they just have Hogwarts.
I like
and they have
Universal
plenty.
Hollywood. Yeah.
I have been to the Orlando
I have, but it's been a long
experience
time.
for Harry Potter, and it was awesome.
It's one of those that, like, once you've done it and I've gone through everything and I've had every experience,
I'd
I've
go
bought all
back.
the souvenirs I want. I go back just because we go down there, but I don't care.
Yeah. Well, you had a question.
Sounds bad, but
I do have a question. I'll ask it in just a little bit. I want us to make sure we get our camera back on the list, and I want number 3 written out for us as we continue on with Lunch's list. My question to you, Brown, was, I know one of your biggest complaints, grievances, whatever it may be, disputes that you have within your family, is you like everybody to be prompt and on time.
Correct.
Let's get out the door. Let's go where we need to get to.
Yeah.
Let's not be late.
Probably a bad thing to have when you have a family full of females. No offense.
I have the same
Okay.
thing,
Yeah.
and it can be difficult.
Yeah.
So my question is, are you the theme park planner? Are you the one that plans out the day? Are you the
heavens,
one
no,
that's sort
Jennifer
of the
Brown.
general? You're leading it? or
Nope. Jennifer Brown.
she do an admirable job at this?
Yeah, I can show you. Here, I'll pull it up. I'll show you. You'll love this. Hang on.
By the way, number 3, Universal Horror Nights and
Hollywood Horror Nights.
Hollywood Horror Nights. Okay.
I just did the whole thing. I didn't want to write the whole thing out again.
Universal Hollywood Horror Nights. Got it. I understand why you did what you did now. This is something I never would have thought would have been on any Lunce's list ever. This is the Laurel effect in full swing.
Let me just read what I wrote first thing. I don't care for Horror Nights, but it is an absolute spectacle to see for sure. My first Horror Nights was in Hollywood. It was also my only pre-COVID Horror Nights, to where the crowds were insane. And I'm sure Orlando was like this before COVID definitely changed how in tight corridors and stuff, they, changed things. But the photo opportunities they had were incredible. There's a picture of me on the Us set where I had like the scissors and we had like the cutout stuff. That's my wife and I, Laurel. We did that. They had a bunch of Stranger Things stuff. The experience was infinitely better in Hollywood. And once again, that may be a COVID thing. I don't know. But it was so much better. The food was incredible. And they also built in, so we always do the RIP tour, which is like the VIP tour thing, whatever, but basically let you skip all the lines because I ain't waiting in line for a haunted house. They had a Ghostbusters one. It was just an incredible experience, but they built rides into the experience as opposed to let's knock all 10 houses out while we're at it. And then if you want to go ride rides once it's 1 o'clock in the morning, go for it. They built rides into it. So we went to like a private little snack area next to the Jurassic World ride because they've switched that one to Jurassic World out there also as opposed to Jurassic Park in Orlando. Go ride it. Let's go ride it right now. Let's not just say we're eating snacks here. You can come back if you want to. We'll get to the Simpsons ride. You can ride the Simpsons ride. You can do all this stuff. And now with the Mario area, I don't know if they're including that into it or not. Not really a Horror Nights themed thing, but overall, it's just an infinitely better experience for Horror Nights. And it was my first time, so it's kind of the first time's a special time, and now we just do it every year.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you are amongst us as horror fans. What you got for us, CG?
I want to do a check-in with one of our listeners' Lunce's list. And this is a unique one, so I'm excited. This is from Jody. Number 5, SeaWorld San Diego. Number 4, Dollywood. Number 3, Universal Studios Hollywood.
There you go.
Number 2, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
I've been to Hershey.
Really?
Yeah. I was very excited. I don't know why I was so excited.
Number 1,
Hershey. I am here to steal Heinz Ward. What?
Number 1, Carowinds, Charlotte. Honorable mention, not a theme park, but Alcatraz East Crime Museum is great.
Interesting.
I saw Alcatraz from afar.
I did too. Yeah, I didn't go over.
Yeah.
Sure has a hell of a gift shop.
I got a shiv, Dad. What'd you get?
What you got for?
Oh, no, I was going to show you.
Sort of exhibit.
Yeah, no, this is
an itinerary.
This is the itinerary my wife did
I love
for the Disney trip. Yeah. So there's day 1. That
was just day 1.
Hang on, that's day 1. Well, this says one of. Oh no, all the days are on there. And then this is designed so that you don't ask questions.
I was going to say, y'all did a lot in day 1. If that
No,
was just day 1.
that's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and then there's another document.
It takes that in order. See, some people think you can just show up to a movie theater and buy a ticket these days. Very tough to do.
Nope.
You can't just show up to a theme park and expect to have the full experience. It takes months of planning. You have to know when your window even opens up to start scheduling out what you plan to do to the minute of the day. John, it's very intense, and I love it. It's a rush and a thrill, and that's how my mind works.
I don't know how this comes off, but that's just not how I do it. I go and just whatever happens person.
You go 15 times a year, so you can do that.
But because of that, that's the biggest reason. I know. I mean, I wasn't trying to say, well, I go 15 times a year. It's just I don't have to do that.
I'll say it for you.
Look, the thing is, I spend less money going to Disney than everybody else in this room when they go to Disney because of the passes that we have, and we ultimately end up saving so much money that every trip we take is really not much at all. It's no different than going
just pay it up front and then
It's
it doesn't
no
cost
different.
anything.
No,
Just
look,
paying a lump sum.
an
and then you're
annual
good.
pass for literally everything is $1,200, and it's like, well, that's a lot of money. But if you count how many times I walk through those turnstiles,
Yeah.
I agree
I'm paying
with you.
$20 to go to Disney World.
I was
for
an
the day.
annual pass member as well when I lived in Orlando, and it was the only way to do it there. I have no problem. You're 10 hours away, 12 hours away, whatever it may be. Have you gotten it down to an exact science?
I have.
You speed.
You
have
go through
to
South
speed.
Georgia?
I do not speed. No, I go through Dothan.
8
I take
hours to get to
65 to
Orlando?
Montgomery, 231 down to Dothan, then kind of
So
go
you
down
cut
231,
across.
go down to 10, go down 10, 75.
You don't stop?
and then the turnpike.
Oh, you got to stop.
We stop at the Florida Welcome Center, which is about 3.5 hours in to go to the bathroom, and we stop at the Busy Bee, which is in Live Oak, Florida, and it's probably 2.5 hours before Orlando. And it's 2 good even stops. My wife switches over. She drives from the Florida Welcome Center. She takes I-10, which is the most boring road to drive on the planet. And we get it down to where it's about, with stops, it's about 8.5 hours plus the hour change. It's 9.5 technically, but it's 8.5 actually on the road. We get it done.
I feel like it takes me about 10, but that's
Well, we flew, but driving, the last time I went, we drove. That's a haul.
it is 90-minute flight. Not bad.
Oh,
at
easy
all.
flight, yeah. And Southwest has those 2 directs.
No.
The biggest reason
3
we don't
directs,
fly
actually.
is so we can buy stuff. Like, if the whole thing, so we did start flying at first, but then one time I went down there and I saw this really cool Hulk like statue thing that's sitting in my office at home right now. That's like, I love that, but the box was that big.
Oh, yeah.
And I ain't flying with that
That's
thing
tough
when
to
we're
bring that
already
back.
using, because
Yeah.
we pretty much just use all our carry-ons for our luggage anyway. There's no chance I'm traveling home with that, but now that we drive,
Yeah.
I can buy,
Buy anything you want.
anything that big, but like I did buy like Infinity Gauntlet from the Avengers. It's still pretty tall. I bought that Guardian sign. I mean, I have a ton of stuff in my poker room that's just easier to travel with.
If you have a Hulk statue, but you don't have the home to put it in, contact my friend Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate. That's location with a K. Jim has a client who's an active duty Marine who's looking for a 4-bedroom house in Jefferson County for $250,000 or less. If you're selling a property like this, call Jim at 205-329-4758. Jim's still active with the U.S. military and is able to help you secure the American dream of finding your perfect home. He's only happy when you're happy. Each of Jim Wilson's clients has his full attention and devotion to get what they need and want, not only during the home buying or selling process, but every day after. He is an advocate for you. Whether you're buying or selling, contact Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate at 205-329-4758 or visit jimwilson.locationre.com. I see you're a big fan of our live reads here.
I love them. The transitions are incredible. You've done wonderful.
They got to
with
be
those.
memorable.
Yeah.
We learn from the best.
We did. Let's go ahead and go to number 2 on Luntz's list, counting down the 5 best theme park experiences that you can have in this great country. Ryan, I know you love this country as well.
This is the greatest country in the universe. No questions asked about it.
USA.
It is,
EG's
absolutely.
EG's trying to get a USA chant started with no microphone, which
Yes, yes.
I love USA chants.
You love USA chants?
They're my favorite thing.
Can you please give her a microphone? Get a USA chant started here.
All right, USA.
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 That was awesome.
It is the United States
Chills.
veteran that has made it the greatest country in this universe, not politicians. Politicians tried everything they can do to ruin it. We owe everything to the United States veteran. Without the United States veteran, we are absolutely nothing, active duty and veteran as a nation.
Very well said. It's my favorite thing that you do. All right, number 2. It's the reverse of the Bane voice when you start going into talking about our
Right.
military.
What if I did that in the Bane voice, though? It would feel very disrespectful to the military, but
I agree. It would. Let's go to number 2 here. Hollywood Studios, located in Orlando. And I'm very excited that we're back here in Florida territory. Let's talk a little bit about why Hollywood Studios ranks so high, because there's one thing that both Brown and I would agree doesn't even need to be close to this list, and it is the Animal Kingdom.
Amen.
That ain't gonna
I
be number one.
skip it every single time I go down.
Me too.
They're like, you can have all 4 parks for
Nope.
don't want it.
Nope.
But you could park hop. Nope.
Nope.
Don't
You
want
keep your
it.
Animal Kingdom.
I will go to the zoo and I will have a fun time. And I know that's a sort of sacrilegious thing to say to those that are Animal Kingdom fans, that it is basically a glorified zoo. That's the one thing that they've marketed that they do not want it to be. But in my opinion, it's a glorified
Yeah, I
zoo.
agree. Too crowded. Way too crowded.
Why don't you guys like Animal Kingdom?
Too crowded.
The layout is awful.
Layout's awful. It's far more cramped than the rest of the parks, but it's the same amount of people.
It's the absolute worst when it's hot. I mean, like,
Yeah.
they're all hot, but like of the 4, it is the worst
Yep.
when it gets hot.
And it's fewer theme rides, so the lines are longer for the actual rides.
I'm not even a fan of the shows there. I don't even really like the shows that they present there.
Yeah.
I can't fit in the dinosaur ride, which destroys my knees every time I'm in there. And I can still see the ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise pipes in there from a former theme park attraction. I believe it was a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids experience or something like that, where they had those 3 things. And I'm like, you've done all of this to bring prehistoric life back to the imagination, and yet you can't paint over the ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise pipes. Come on, Disney. What are you doing? You're dropping the ball. Now, let's get to number 2, Hollywood
The truth
Studios,
is-
which is a park I actually like.
There's 4 parks at Disney World.
Yep.
There's Magic Kingdom, there's Hollywood Studios, there's Epcot, and there's Disney Springs.
I agree.
Those are the 4 theme parks to go to.
I
So
agree.
That 4th day, go to Disney Springs, shop, go see a movie, eat great food, do all that cool stuff, and stay away from Animal Kingdom. But Hollywood Studios, number 2. This is where Galaxy's Edge is in Orlando. So I know there's a Galaxy's Edge in California, and it actually existed first. before the one in Orlando did. But Rise of the Resistance is the best ride at Hollywood Studios. It's not the best ride anymore overall, and I think Brian would agree with that, even though you say you haven't ridden Rise of the Resistance.
I don't think I have. I know I did Smuggler's Run.
You would know if you'd done it.
Okay, I don't know why we missed it then. That is bizarre to me that we missed it.
It's typically either the ride is down
That might have been it.
or it's a super long wait, and if you're not a Star Wars fan, you're probably
I'm not.
going to shift to something else.
Yeah, I
to
think
do.
that was probably it.
And
Either
until
it
the
was down a long
last
way.
year and a half, 2 years, it's been a virtual queue thing too.
Yeah.
But when Guardians became the thing and then Tron became the thing, they moved it off, and you just either waited in line or paid for it. But Galaxy's Edge, really good. All the same things as California because it is the same ride. You can still do the lightsaber experience. You can do build a droid. You can do the Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon ride. But it's awesome. Toy Story Land is awesome. Slinky Dog Coaster is a really
Fantastic
good roller coaster.
ride. Very underrated.
Really good.
The Mickey and
And I
Minnie's-
like the Mania too, where you go shoot the.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
virtual-
good ride.
Yeah, it's a fun
Yeah.
game.
And when they built a second track of that, it really eased up the line a lot
Yes.
more because that line was very
Horrendous.
tough to wait through.
Yes, I destroy my wife every time I go there, and she does not like it.
Like you punch her out in the car,
No,
or what do you do?
It's a game. Like
Right.
I can beat
Oh,
her
you just mean
on
in
it.
the competition.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you got like
Don't take that
physical
so
during the
literally,
game.
yeah.
Jeez, do you not see these loving pictures I'm showing right now? If you're a Star Wars fan, it is the place to go. You have Galaxy's Edge, you have the Star Wars Launch Bay, which still exists for some reason. I'm surprised they got rid of it. But you basically go get like character photos there with Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Chewbacca. I had a few of those listed right there. There's a really cool Star Wars parade. I don't know if it's still there, but right after COVID, they kind of built a stage because they were trying to cover where they were building Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway right there, where it used to be the Great Movie Ride, which is better than Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
I agree.
But I don't dislike Mickey and Minnie's Runaway
I
Railway.
agree.
It's hard to say really fast. But they used to have a really good Star Wars parade that they would do. And it would be like Captain Phasma and stormtroopers behind, and they'd march through and be like you were under Imperial rule then, or First Order rule and all that.
You got to tell your Kylo Ren story because
Yeah,
you
so I
made
don't
some
watch-
nerds very angry.
Yeah, I don't watch a lot of Star Wars. Like I have seen parts of the original three, but I've never sat down and watched the original three start to finish. Same, EG? I don't have to ask these other three. I know the answer to that. I've
Star Wars.
seen none, zero of the rest of them. The other six, there's nine
There's
total, right?
more
There's
than that,
more,
but
but
a
yeah.
part of the main Skywalker
Yeah,
saga, there's
9.
9.
So there's apparently a character that looks like Darth Vader, but he's not Darth Vader, and he's Kylo Ren.
Can we do a shot on the list right now? Because there's actually a Vader helmet up next to the list, and I think you can see it as it's being pointed to there.
Yeah, Kylo Ren is like young. No, he's like old Darth Vader. No, he's Darth. He replaced Darth Vader. Is what I found out yesterday. So we're
Essentially,
not
yes.
the time we were there recently, but we went Christmas of 22, and we're walking through that Star Wars area, and all these people, that Kylo Ren cat's walking through there, and all these people are around him, like getting selfies and all that. And Hallie, my youngest, is like, "Who's that?" And I said, "It's Darth Vader." And some guy wheels around and goes, "Oh, that's actually Kylo Ren." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Was it me or Tim? Was it me or Tim that did
No.
that?
I mean, he was
No.
pissed. And I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Here's what he was mad about. You go, oh, it's Darth Vader.
Oh, beat Darth Vader. So, yeah. So Kylo Ren. They still did that thing you're talking about out in the main park as recently as Christmas of 22. I did not see it this time.
Yeah, it was good. But
It's pretty cool.
They had, like I said, a big part of it was they had the stage
Yeah.
kind of set up where they would come up on the stage and like talk down to everybody, like you were under First Order rule. It might have been called First Order March, but it was covering up the building right there. What's supposed to be kind of the Chinese theater El Capitan look that they have, but it was a cool thing anyway. So it's Star Wars is definitely the place to go. Let me ask you this: do you remember what Kylo Ren's real name is that I told you yesterday?
Oh, it's Han Solo's son, Luke Solo.
Ooh, close.
No.
Ben Solo.
No, Luke Skywalker. Ben Solo. Yeah, Ben. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ben.
There you go. Yeah, you remember
Darth Vader's grandson.
That is correct.
That's the way you need to
Yeah,
think of
Darth Vader's grandson.
it. Okay. If Galaxy's Edge was perfect in your mind, because you do not think it's perfect, you've actually been quite critical of it behind the scenes. If it was perfect, could Hollywood Studios be number one on Lunch's list? If it was perfected as being as good as
possibly. If so, the hotel was a failure and it's done for now. If the hotel had worked and was perfectly integrated into it
and affordable,
and if the plan, so the whole thing with Galaxy's Edge is you walk in and it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's plenty of cool stuff in there. The lightsaber experience, the rides, all that's cool. But the problem is, so Bob Chapek, flamed out pretty quickly after he took over for Bob Iger. Bob Iger comes back. Well, then it all comes out, hey, here were the plans when Bob Iger wanted to ultimately do Galaxy's Edge, but because he was gone by the time they finished Galaxy's Edge and Chapek had come in and slashed all the budgets. I understand why he did it, but he slashed all the budgets, and it's like, when you see Iger versus Chapek's Galaxy's Edge vision, then it's like, oh man, what if we just even got a fraction of the stuff that they cut out? I understand why they didn't do it, but if they had just done any of it at all, it's like, this would have been incredible. And if it was perfect, maybe, but it's tough to be number one regardless.
Ryan, did you go to the Frozen show that they had there at Hollywood Studios? You would have known it.
I'm not a big show guy. No, I did not.
I like the shows at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
I give them my vote of approval. Even One Man's Dream, which is that video they play of Walt Disney's story. Is that exhibit still open there at Hollywood Studios? The One Man's Dream with the video that plays over there behind Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway? You don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, next time you go back, let me know.
You like Tower of Terror?
I'm not a heights guy. I did it one time, one of those after hours things. There was no line I had to wait in to do it.
Yeah.
Did it at night. It was cool. I can say I've done it, but I hate it because I don't like heights.
Okay.
Explains why he hates me. Let's go to number one
True.
on Luntz's list.
Our own Tower of Terror.
Being 7-foot monster. Number one, this is the best theme park experience that anyone can have. I think it's going to be ours too. I feel I know where this is going.
Six Flags over Georgia.
Starts with an E and ends with a T, I believe, which is John's favorite 80s movie.
Yes.
Is it Epcot? Yes, that was my prediction. This is the one with the big silver ball that you go up to slowly to the voice of Judi Dench. Is it still Judi Dench?
It is Judi Dench. Yes.
Dame Judi Dench.
They're supposed to be redoing it at some point.
I hope they never
but
do.
I have heard that for years, and it hasn't happened yet. I got my chair. It's like, okay. Here's why probably Hollywood Studios would not be number one now. It may have taken that spot for about a year until until Guardians of the Galaxy opened up, which is by far, and I think Brown agrees with me, the best ride in all of Disney World. Phenomenal.
I have not ridden it yet.
Would ride it on loop for hours on end. It's
Me
that
too.
good.
I've heard some people got nauseous on it. Y'all didn't get it?
No, I've told some people that have.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the gimmick of it. It's not only a roller coaster that goes, like a roller coaster does, but the individual cars that you're in, the 4-person cars that you're in, spin as well on the track.
So as you go into turns, the it's hard to explain, but the car spins. Like you don't go straight into the turn. You spin almost like a dirt track race car. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like a drift because there's one part where you go around a planet and the track loops like this going down. So you think if you're facing forward, you would go like this. But like Brown said, instead you're facing.
Yeah, it's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain, but you're always facing the planet in the middle.
And let me make sure I've wrapped my head around this. You love this ride, Brown, but you're not a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan. You just love the ride.
I came after we rode the ride when we went back Christmas of 22. I came back home and watched the movie because I understood nothing that they were talking about on the ride. And I fell asleep watching the movie. The movie didn't do it for me. So now I just enjoy the ride. Now I've seen the queue lines enough to figure out what's going on in the movie.
About everything that we talk about on this show, I think to myself, and I ask myself this question in grading it, would Lance enjoy this on edibles? And I think the answer is, to the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, very much yes.
Probably so. I don't know how he feels about roller coasters.
With him and his motion, I don't know.
Yeah. He gets bad motion sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So maybe
I don't know if
not.
he would. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe he should just watch a YouTube video of it.
Yeah.
Because with that ride, there's a lot of, because you're supposed to be in the galaxy, and so there's a lot of like stars that as you're moving around and stuff, there's certain focal points that the ride shifts to focus on, but just the stars in general whizzing past you and stuff, I feel like that would probably drive Lance
and
crazy.
part of the ride too is which song you get. There's a different song. There's I think 6 to 8 different songs.
Yeah, I Ran is the best song to me personally.
Flock of Seagulls.
Yeah,
we got Disco Inferno and September. Those were our two. Yeah, we got Disco Inferno twice in September.
That's what makes the Guardians movies great, and what it caught on with, I feel like, with the general public is because you can go in and instantly recognize all these really cool, 80s songs that play in the movie.
I want to throw out some love to a ride we're probably not going to talk about unless I bring it up, and that's Soarin'. I love
That's
Soarin'.
a good ride.
It's a great ride. It's relaxing. I know you hate heights, but it's just high enough.
I did it one time, and it was just high enough where I was like, because my thing is I feel like I'm about to fall out with just the seatbelt that they put on you to where it's like, I don't know. Because the problem is you can look at the screen, But I'm so
Yeah, if you
tempted.
look down,
I'm so
it's gonna
tempted
get
to
you.
look down because I know
something's down
I'm
there.
floating
Yeah.
over nothingness right there to where it's hard. Everything I'll do once, and I've done it all once, but that's not one that I tried to make time for.
That is one of my favorite rides.
Soren?
I love it.
The Eiffel Tower gets me. I don't know why.
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I just don't like heights, so I can't really do it.
Let's get the camera back on EG. We've gotten the list. Number 5, Disneyland California Adventure. Number 4, Universal Hollywood Studios. Number 3, is it Universal Hollywood Studios or just Universal Hollywood? It's just Universal Hollywood. Yeah. At number 3, Universal Hollywood Horror Nights. Number 2, Hollywood Studios at Disney. At number 1, Epcot.
There's a lot of Hollywood on there, and it's not all in Hollywood.
That's weird. Yeah, you're right about that.
That is quite strange.
It used to be MGM Studios, I guess, so I'll just put that.
Can I give? Are we done with Epcot?
No, we're not done with Epcot.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I mean, you can
I have an
say
addition.
something.
Hey,
I'm just
gonna say, if you've got kids, sneaky fun thing at Epcot is in the Nemo area, the under the sea area. If you go around the back, not where the ride is, but you go through the store, there's a little screen where the turtle.
Yep.
It's called Turtle
Talk with Crush.
It is hilarious.
That's so fun.
I don't know how they do it. I'm fascinated the way they actually do that.
Well, have you been on the Monsters Inc. laugh floor at Magic Kingdom?
Yeah.
Because it's a similar premise, right?
It is.
I think they both deliver.
Yeah,
The
it's
people
very
that
good.
play Crush, the way they deliver everything and the way the visuals work with how the person is performing on a microphone somewhere. That's what makes it going on TikTok and scrolling through just people and the questions that kids ask and the responses to it is hysterical. Here's the thing with Epcot. Here's why Epcot's number 1 over Hollywood Studios. Number 1 is Guardians. It's the best ride to me. And if you say Rise is 1 and Guardians is 1B like Nick did, I'm fine with that. It's the opposite 1A, 1B for me. Number 2, Spaceship Earth is the perfect chill and ride within all of Disney. Number 3, the food. You can get literally any kind of food that you want there.
Do you prefer the Food and Wine Festival or the Flower and Garden Festival?
I prefer the Food and Wine Festival because it's the Food and Wine Festival. My wife loves the Flower and Garden Festival.
That was going on this week.
Flower and Garden Festival. So she gets great pictures and I get great food at the 2 different ones. But I forgot to put my Epcot pictures up, by the way, because
my gosh, that's 15 more minutes added to the show.
there's Flower and Garden and Food and Wine pictures in there. But because we're going in April. I don't know what it is in April, but she's running a race in like a month, and it's going to be one of those. But that's the Flower and Garden Festival because it's very bright and vibrant flowers behind me. So there's plenty of food. There's plenty of alcohol, too. That's one thing I feel like there's a certain person in this office that one time I left, and it's like, there's no alcohol there. Oh, no, there's plenty of alcohol. And there's a lot of good alcohol there, too.
That is the only thing I would say about Epcot is when you get late in the night, the drink around the world people are out of whack. And it can, sometimes you can encounter
That's
some
why
things.
you need to become a drink around the world person, and then you're right there with them. That's perfectly fine. But Test Track is also, I mentioned how much I like the Cars one. It's there, too. There's just so many things to do at Epcot. You cannot walk out of Epcot without having had a complete full day every single time and be full in your belly as well.
So there we have lunches list. We have about 10 more minutes. I'm going to extend this just a little bit because we have to get to these stories, and I want Brown to definitely hear the second one. You went to go see Olivia Rodrigo in Nashville this past weekend.
I did.
How would you grade the performance? How would you grade the experience? And is Olivia Rodrigo someone you'd recommend other people check out in person?
I promise I'm not trying to sound like a prude here, but Olivia Rodrigo is 21. She just turned 21, so she can drink around the world now. And I'd say the average age, if you took out parents and me and my wife, was 15 at the concert, but she is way more adult than somebody like Taylor Swift is, who both had their adult moments. Taylor Swift is very mature from a, like, I've grown up kind of perspective. Olivia Rodrigo is very mature from a, hey, I just turned 21 and I'm angry as hell.
Do you feel like it's impossible not to compare the two constantly?
It is impossible because they hate each other, and so there's this whole back and forth with the two of them and everything. And supposedly songs on the last album are about Taylor. It's a whole thing.
Oh, wow.
That my wife will have to explain. I don't know what to do with that. But it was a good concert. The opener was good. Some random girl I've never heard of before, but she was entertaining. And
we'll never hear of her because you don't remember the name probably.
Yeah. But it started really bad. Like, she came out and sang one of her bigger songs, but she was trying to scream and dance around and everything, and you couldn't understand a single word. But within about 2 songs, it was completely fixed. And whatever sound issues they were having trying to adjust to Bridgestone Arena, they fixed it. And it was pretty good after that. But she's very very adult for being a 21-year-old girl and me being a 37-year-old guy sitting there watching it. It's a little
Felt
weird.
creepy.
It feels a little creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Well, there we go.
But it's good.
John reviewed himself going to the concert instead of
Just
the actual
The actual
concert.
Telling you the
concert
truth.
itself, yes.
Ichi, very sensitive
Melton.
subject coming up.
Is this a
You've
story I need to hear?
This is a story you need to hear.
Yeah.
You're willing to be transparent.
I'm
maybe
willing.
have you already told
I don't
Brown this
think
story?
so. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Brown, at any point interject because this is a whopper of a story.
All right.
It
Okay, here we
is.
go.
Let's hear this.
So, I wanted to see Miss Taylor Swift. I think y'all know that.
In what city in particular? Because I think Brown would find that to be interesting.
I wanted to see her in Germany originally.
Well,
That wasn't what I was setting
Oh,
up.
that was well,
you asked what city should give you a nation.
that was the initial plan.
Right.
So then Miami
Okay.
comes up.
Yeah, a little easier than
A
Germany.
little
Okay,
easier.
yeah.
I'm going home on Saturday to celebrate my birthday, and one of my best friends texts me a screenshot of a Facebook post and says, "I know this is during football season, but ... Point of Germany was it's in the summer, so we have a little more time.
Correct.
So I take a gander at Alabama and Auburn schedules, and lo and behold, Saturday, October 19th, Auburn is at Missouri and Alabama's at Tennessee. That means I would be open.
That's right.
Wow.
No home game. Yeah.
No home game.
Okay.
So I respond back and I said, wait a second. No. Hold the phone. I am free. Let's check this out. So she messages this account, and this account, we had mutual friends, this lady. And she says they're selling them for $500 each, 4 tickets. Caitlin says, I'm out. I've already seen her. Don't really love Miami. And I said, yeah, that's a lot of money. Whatever. I go home. I'm sitting at my kitchen table with my parents. And I casually mention, hey, Caitlin texted me this thing. They said, well, how much are they? I said, they're $500. And my parents are awesome people. They said, let's just do it. Why not?
And this is all on your birthday,
This
too,
is
right?
all, well, yeah, the Saturday after. My birthday was on Thursday, but I was home to celebrate my birthday with my family. And so my parents are like, let's just do it. See how much tickets are going for that night. One ticket in Miami in the nosebleeds was $2,100.
Yo.
Exactly. And this lady is selling them for $500 each. And so they said, go get all 4. We'll sell the other 2, but I'm sure you'll find people to go. It'll be awesome. Text your mutual friend of this lady. Make sure she's a real person. So I do. I say, hey, is she reputable? They all say, yes. I went to high school with her. Oh, yeah. I used to babysit for her. So
You did a full background check.
full
on pretty
background
much-
check. Now, let me also preface this. My brother is a forensic accountant. So he catches fraud for a living. He even looked at all of this and was like, yeah, this looks good. So I messaged this lady, or who I think is a lady, could be a man for all I know.
It is.
It is a man, probably in Indonesia. And to make a long story short, this woman got hacked on Facebook by someone, and they posted these fake Taylor Swift tickets. So I had screenshots of like the tickets that they were selling, the time stamp matched up. I said, hey, I want to make sure. I want to make sure this isn't a scam to the scammer. How humbling is that? And they're like, oh yeah, totally
No, we're not a
understand.
scam at all.
We're not scamming you.
No.
Have you bought Bitcoin from Dunaway yet?
Yeah, no, I'm almost there. So all that to say, my dad Venmos this account, and he had the balance in his Venmo account. Word to the wise, no money in your Venmo account
Yeah,
is
that's a bad idea.
insured.
That's right.
Nothing is insured, whether it's
I know people that use a Venmo
$4,000.
account like a bank account. You cannot,
cannot
do
do
that.
it.
It's
You
way easy.
can't do it.
Yeah.
I got scammed out of a lot of money.
Are you willing to?
I'm willing to disclose the amount, $2,000.
Oh,
I know,
Isn't
it's
that-
very painful.
I don't think I could send $2,000 via Venmo to anyone that I personally know, not even my wife. I would feel too terrified to be trapped in the clouds somewhere.
I mean, it was painful. Now, I will give you guys this joke. So I'm in tears. Like, as this is all happening, like, my brothers are coming over, my sister-in-law, our new niece, both my grandmas, and I'm weeping in the corner, like, sobbing. My mom kind of, sets the scene of what's going on. Hunter, my brother, starts with the, oh, EG, you should have said no.
Oh,
Taylor Swift's
second guess.
reference. Tim hit me with a Cruel Summer just came on.
Oh, wow.
It did.
Yeah.
It did. She texted me this story, and Cruel Summer came
Yeah.
on immediately after. I thought that was very Ironic.
So all in all, I learned a lesson. My family learned a lesson because we were all in on it. Like I was checking in every step of the way. My other brother, Jake, who is a forensic accountant, he opened up the prayer of my birthday dinner with, Lord, thank you for the fraudsters for keeping me in business.
That's painful.
It is. It is.
That's funny. You got a
it is.
$2,000 joke, but it's
I
still
did.
very painful.
So no Starbucks for me for a long time.
Oh, man. Gee.
Let me know if you need me to pick your kids up for a little extra cash.
It's tough.
I'll run errands for you.
Yep. I'd shut Venmo down. I'm no Venmo.
Can I say one thing about Venmo real quick?
Yes.
There is more money in my Venmo account after last night.
Oh, you want poker,
By
right?
the way, 'cause I
Oh
won
my
poker.
goodness.
I hope you
I
just,
guess I should dump that into my bank
Good
account
time
so
to
it
hack
doesn't
Lunsford.
disappear.
I hope
Yeah.
you just gave out a QR code that it allows everybody to drain that from your bank account, and then they can donate it to EG's Relief Fund there. Hey, if you want to build up your accounts, there's one way to do that. I'm going to let Ryan talk about it because Jim forced Lunsford to talk about Way to Wellness today on the air, and that's great. We love talking about Way to Wellness, but I don't think John was fully prepared. I want you to talk about our title sponsor. That's MyBookie, Ryan.
MyBookie.ag code is the same code.
Yes.
Code next round. I didn't know if it was code Meltdown. MyBookie.ag code next round. All the conference tournament action underway. The Players Championship this weekend. NBA games. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Don't forget code next round when you sign on, because when you sign on with code next round, you get that sign-on bonus. Use it once, win with it that one time. It is yours and yours forever. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Code next round.
Ryan, congratulations for being a part of history, the longest ever edition of the Meltdown.
Wow, how about
you,
that?
You have a life to live. You have to get out of this studio, and I'm going to let you do that.
I actually have to use the restroom.
Okay, well, we're going to make that happen as well. A little bit too transparent.
Yeah.
How
This
are
show
we
is.
making that happen?
right.
I'm not going to do anything there, but Ryan's bathroom break is something that we're going to let him attend to, and we are going to say goodbye. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I had no segue from that, I'll tell you that. This has been The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.